support paid parking on Ocean Isle Beach? And I believe, Bob, I believe you're the first one.
No.
Thank you for that. Steve?
Ditto, no. I will tell you this, though, because I did a little informal survey in the golf cart the other day, and I was looking for marked parking places out here on the island. And I found, and you guys know, or Debbie and Wayne know better than I do, I found 274 marked parking places on the island that were for regular cars. I found 26 that were for handicap. And I found, wait a minute, I can't see anymore. I found 106 golf cart parking places. And I don't think we should charge for those. What I'm more inclined to think is we say, when those places are gone, go down to our local businesses, whether it's the pier, whether it's here at the Isles, and pay a nominal sum, $10, $5. I think you even get a voucher for a drink here if you park here. And I think that is fair because it helps support our local businesses. So if you look at the other communities, Holden Beach, Oak Island is 20. Went over to Wrightsville one day and it was 40. Yeah, so I do think that we provide a service with the free parking here, and I'd like to see that continue. But I would like to also limit where people can park and send them to places where we have showers, trash cans, and things like that.
Thank you, Steve.
You know, because of some of the forefathers before me and Betty Williamson and people like that, many years ago, we have oceanfront lots. Get that, oceanfront lots every other block now that give us free parking with 18 connector streets that have been added, totaling 501. Free parking places on the island for vehicles and 103 free parking places for golf carts. That's more than twice any of the other Brunswick Island beaches. And I'm pretty proud of that. We've had it added to that number almost every year. And in my years of service, which are 4, just this year we added 12 vehicular parking places on Charlotte Boulevard, 10 on Columbia, and 12 golf cart places on Lumberton. So when I look at free parking, I try to look at east side, west side of the island. And the parking is almost equally split on east to west. But there's more land on the east side, so there are 227 assigned homes east of the causeway, that's 58%, and 1,610 homes on the west of causeway, with 18 public accesses, 10 on the west. Something that you may not know that I learned is that as part of our agreement with the federal government regarding beach renourishment, that requires the town to provide some funding for parking places and money for beach accesses. The majority of the beach renourishment has been done on the east end with the terminal groin, as you know, and that will probably require us to invest in some more parking on the east. As for now, I will continue to work on free parking. Knowing paid parking studies are not too far down the road, and that we will lose parking on 2nd Street when we resurface and add bike lanes, and we'll lose parking when we tear down the old town hall.
I am definitely not for paid parking. I believe that this beach is a public beach for everyone, and I'm love their Steve and Dave's numbers of how many free parking we have for golf carts and parking places available. I would, the one reason I like to keep free parking and not paid parking is because we have a lot of service industry that can't afford to live on this island like some of us have been so privileged to be able to do so. And they deserve to come over here, have some free parking, and enjoy the beach because it belongs to all of us. And the only thing I'm worried about, too, is all the right-of-way parking. I'd love to get that reduced or done away with altogether, especially on East 2nd Street, where it's so hard to see around the cars. There's even been a couple of accidents. I'm always scared I always slow down during the peak of the season when people are parking around there because I'm so scared a child's going to run out and I won't be able to stop in time. And I know that once we're getting away from some of our parking due to the possibility of the community center, which would take up a lot of that green space, which is available for parking right now for our events. And so I'd like to see that we might have to possibly look into either purchasing whatever precious real estate we'll have left to build more parking when that comes around and starts building. And or also just go to like the pier and maybe offer a lease during the peak season to them to help with because they are a private business that has paid parking. And, okay.
So I don't know if there will be other questions. I would assume so regarding parking, but I'll just talk in general about it briefly, because parking is to me a complex issue, and paid parking is only one element of it. I will answer the question, of course. No, I am not in favor. I'm not convinced that we need paid parking at the moment. But I will also say that we will know when we need paid parking when you say that we need paid parking. Right now, I had a conversation, regarding parking overall with a number of citizens that I've gone out and met so far. And my question to them is, people say we have a parking issue. Do you have a parking issue? And I'm standing in their driveway, they'll point at their garage and go, no, I've got parking right there. It's not a problem for me. Okay, so my question always for the citizens is then, if we have an issue, whose issue is it? Is it an issue that we don't have enough handicap parking? That would be one thing. Is it an issue that we don't have enough golf cart parking? That would be something else. Is it an issue that we don't have enough parking for day trippers? That would be something else. Whatever the problem is, that's the problem we need to address. And to generally say that we have a parking problem doesn't help us get to the root cause of that problem. I had a conversation with each of the members of the 5 primary members of staff to get to know them and how their days go. And I was struck by one of them saying on the subject of parking, Mike, you have to realize we are those people, referring to those people who come over from off the island and want to park. And these are people that are contributing day in and day out to the health of this community. And I second what Wendy said. There are people here, Sarah Walters also told me, that we have to look out for the people who work in the restaurants. It's so hard to get people to come. And if we make it so our island is only welcome when they come to work, then it'll be even harder to get workers. So as we talk about parking, let's talk about really what are the issues, who are we really serving, and whether or not there is enough parking already to service those particular individuals.
A $40 parking fee is an invitation to not go to Wrightsville Beach. They may as well put a bridge right there at or a gate at the bridge, I mean. This is a complex issue, and I've talked to a number of people about it, and I've tried to listen to what everybody's told me about maintaining free parking, and I agree we should do that. I initially had a conversation with Mark one time about a month or so ago, and we discussed parking and the possible need to have paid parking in certain areas sometime in the future, depending on what we do with any kind of maybe possible public-private partnership down the road. That may be down the road. Here and now today, I would say we don't need to do that, and I've heard from enough of you that say we don't want paid parking. Now, And I'm on your side with that now too. The future is the future, and we can think about it down the road. But something as simple as, I shared this with somebody the other day. I said, why don't we get a can of paint and a sign or two, and let's put a couple of designated parking spots on the connector streets. And the sign should say, this space is for one car or 2 golf carts. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a parking spot and I've seen a little tiny golf cart in a great big old automobile or truck parking space. And you've seen it too. I know you have, because anybody that has a golf cart and uses it on the island, you've run into that. You can't do anything about decorum, but you can certainly lead the way and show by example by parking your golf cart on the left or the right side of that space that's striped. That way, somebody else will get the message and park there as well. That's one way to add a few additional golf cart spaces and maybe open up, some additional parking spaces for cars. The school, thank you.